when you first moved, I think it was to Toronto, right? And you had roommates, and you guys were just doing mounds of cocaine like crazy.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different
Like, where's
stories.
this self-destruction come from? Because it sounds like you were raised, for people that don't know, good family, right?
I got a great family. My parents are amazing.
You guys were a team. I think I saw quotes from you saying, yeah, we grew up a team. So most of the time when you see this kind of self-destruction or this kind of a world where you're constantly drugged or under the influence, there's some bad kind of background.
I've been trying to find out what that is, you know?
Maybe just like to party.
I think 98% of it was I loved partying. I never went like dark. You know those people who get drunk or do coke and they want to they get mean or aggressive,
break things and stuff.
Yeah, like I'd break stuff because I was having fun, but or smash stuff, or I was definitely like a dude at a bar that would at a drop of a hat whip a pint against a wall, but I was doing it because I was just that's funny.
Yeah.
Rather than being I hate
life.
Oh, did that guy look at me?
Yeah.
You know, and they're just I didn't care, and I just loved having fun.
But you were notoriously known in Canada as the party boy, right?
I think it was, I think when chefs,
from what I hear, you always took it to the next level.
I don't know what I was just on my level.
Yeah,
you know, I'm not trying to take it to any level. I was just I was doing my thing, and I think that I get so excited. And so I get so excited and so happy that I want to do more coke and more booze and drink. I could easily drink a bottle of whiskey, 24 beers, half a bottle of vodka, do, grams and grams of cocaine, a few ecstasies, a few grams of mushrooms, whatever I was a garbage head. I could do whatever. I would do any drug put in front of me.
And still function the next day. You'd be all right?
I'd be okay. At the end, I was pretty, I was pretty tired. I was pretty run down.
Yeah, no shit.
I had a long run, I'd say about a 15-year of doing hard drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, you're in the Hall of Fame of drugs if you last 15 years.
Yeah, and even when after my heart attack, I stopped for about 3 months, and then I set up all these goals or lines. I was just I'm not going to do shots. I'm only going to drink beer. I'm not going to drink hard liquor. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. But I should have just stopped, but I wasn't ready to stop.
And you have to stop on your time, right?
Yeah, I'm lucky that I didn't die, really. I'm a big dude. I used to have these, I'd be partying and I would get heart palpitations all the time, and I would put my arms up like a gorilla and cough through them. And I'd get these crazy heart palpitations, and I'd cough through these weird things happening in my body, and then I'd just keep shoveling drugs in my face.
Man.
So it's just I loved doing drugs. I loved drinking. But it's weird. I wasn't an everyday guy. I wasn't I never had alcohol in my house. I liked partying. I wasn't one of those dudes who woke up, cracked a beer, drank a beer. I was one of those dudes who was just shift's over, I'm going to drink 30 beers as
with
fast
your
as I
buddies,
can.
though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I was never a isolated user or, one of the... At the end, I kind of was, And that's the thing, when... The thing about drinking and doing drugs and all that stuff is there is a moment where all of a sudden the drugs and everything take control, actually. And after my heart attack... I had to lie. I never lied before. I was open. I'd go to anybody's house and I'd do coke in front of anyone. I didn't care. I wasn't
families or
no, not families, but if we're partying, you know how everyone goes in the washroom and you're at a house party. Yeah. I'm at a house party. I'm gonna do coke right here.
Yeah.
Get away from me.
Yeah.
I never was hiding behind a thing or acted like I didn't do drugs or anything like that. But the heart attack changed, people's perspectives of me and stuff like that. I was good friends with a lot of my dealers. They were I'm not selling to you. You're my buddy. I don't want you to fucking die. You fucked up. You're out.
Legit friends then.
Yeah, no, they're cool. There's times where I would be at a bar and, all my friends are still doing drugs and I'd be like, yo, I'm coming down.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, fuck off. And I'm just oh, you can do drugs and I can't. And
exactly.
And then that's when I would get I started to get kind of hostile. I'm drunk, I want drugs and all this kind of bullshit. And things just changed. And I just started lying, going to different bars, trying to find different dealers, go to, a little cutty spots.
That's when you know you're an addict.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so I couldn't stop. You know, I was lying to my wife. I was lying to my friends.
And this is before the heart attack.
This is after.
This is even after.
Yeah, yeah. Before the heart attack, I was just like good time buddy. Like no one gave a shit. Like I could do drugs every day. And no one gave a shit.
So
you know?
when you're sitting there in the hospital, you have this heart attack. You weren't like, God, I need to get my shit together, man.
Yes and no. Because I had, you know, my heart attack was in my sleep. It was after a 3-day binge. I went home. I went to work. You know, worked a Saturday night. Went to bed. Woke up at 6 a.m. with this like uncompromising, squishing, squeezing feeling in my chest that I've never felt before. And I was just like, this is crazy. And I wake up and, you know, like my wife, Trish, now is next to me. And I'm like, yo, I was like, I think I think I'm going to have a heart attack. I think I'm going to have a heart attack. So I was like, let's go to the hospital. So like I go to it was crazy enough that I don't go to the hospital for anything, you know? So I'm just like, I was like, I need to go to the hospital.
So she knew it was serious.
Yeah.
Worst pain you've ever had?
It was just something, it was inside. You know, I've burned myself, I've cut myself, I'm covered in tattoos. I understand what like outer pain feels like, you know? But it was something inside of my body that I've never felt before.
More serious.
And it was intense. And it took me about an hour and a half laying in bed being like, am I going to do this? Like, am I going to go? Because you're in denial, you know? And so I went. And as soon as you say, like, I walked into like the hospital, and they're like, I'm like, something's the matter with my heart. They're like, do you do drugs? I'm like, yep. When was the last time you did drugs? I was like, well, like, I don't know, 15 hours ago. What do you drink? I smoke. Yep. Let's go.
Check.
Let's get it.
All above, lady.
Yeah, let's get
all
it.
Above. Get me in there.
Yeah, take my fucking blood and see what's going on.
It's a heart attack, for God's sakes.
And so they took my blood. And when you have a heart attack, your enzymes change in your body, so they know right away.
Oh, nice.
And so they took my blood. Within 5 minutes, I was on a gurney, and they're like, you had a heart attack 4 hours ago. And I was just like, so I'm cool?
So
like I'm good? So I can like peace out of here? You know, like, cause I'm like, oh, the pain is like, I can deal with this pain. So, but like, I'm like, is it going to happen again? Like what's going on? And they're like, you have to stay in the hospital until your enzymes change. It takes about 5 days. And we just have to watch you and make sure that nothing else happens. So then I was in the hospital for 5 days. And they were taking my blood every 2 hours. I'm fat. You can't find any veins. I'm covered in tattoos. Yeah, man. Like I'm getting poked like 30 times every 2 hours so they can check my blood.
Just it was a nurse's nightmare.
Oh yeah, nurses. I was just like, that wasn't cool. But yeah. And then I got out. I went back to work within 10 days.
And when you say went back to work, you're in a kitchen, correct?
Yeah,
and
that's when I still cooked.
When you still cooked, but also in kitchens, that's an environment where I didn't know, and people had to educate me on this, but there's a lot of drug use and alcohol use in kitchens.
There is.
Like Anthony Bourdain talked about it, and I've heard you mention it, but there's a lot of drug use.
I think that there's a lot of drug use in our industry. I think there's a lot of drug use in anyone's industry.
I agree.
You know, like I
agree.
think there's you know, lawyers, like there's no spectrum, nurses, everyone's using drugs. We're human.
Yeah.
It's the same, like we all have this condition. We don't know why we're here. We have all these questions. Everyone's broken. Everyone's had shit in their lives that has fucked them up and they don't want to deal.
Sometimes you just want to party.
And sometimes you just want to party, like me.